What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of epic conversations, and I am the host of epic conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations, and this is the home of Epic Conversations. 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, I co-produce and co-host the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. It is the last Thursday of May 25th, and we are here, this thing called Dr. Vibe's Allies. So let's get the party started. So let's get everyone up. The General, Clive Henri from Nottingham, Juice Man Jonathan Shaw, Victory Unlimited. We are all here, brothers. Some of you have to take yourselves off mute so we can hear you, but how's everyone doing?
Doing well.
Doing well.
Good. Juice Man is in the dark outdoors on date night, so he may not be with us for the full roar, but we're all good. So what's been going on, gentlemen?
We need to do a salute to a soldier that's advanced in rank. We need to do a salute to the Juice Man. He's stepping up. He's graduated from West Point, and he's picking up his second lieutenant bars next to his lovely lady. Salute, Juice Man.
Juice Man.
Salute, Juice Man. Salute. Hope everything is good with you, my brother.
Everything is great.
Excellent. Well, you know what? For those who don't know, we've been doing this thing for a long time. We stopped for a while. We're back doing it on again. So all good. But this month, we're going to be talking about what is Black culture. So when you first hear this subject, what do you think about? What is Black culture?
It's like the old joke involving the lawyer, and somebody asks him, "Hey, how come I got to pay you $500 for you just to look in the book? You got a whole bunch of books up here on the wall. I can pick up the book." And the lawyer says, "For $500, I'll get the right book out."
Oh my gosh.
Black culture is what you want it to be. Okay. There's Black Canadian culture, there's Black American culture, there's Black British culture. Each one of us is the culture that we've been handed down. We've Africanized it to our own respective countries. There's certain similarities, but there are a lot of differences. And what we are and what we pass on is our culture that has been passed down to us because we are an oral people. And we pass that on to either our families or other young people by vehicles such as this, one-on-one conversation. But a part of culture is character and class. The 3 C's: culture, character, and class. You can't have culture without those other 2 items. Because if you don't have any class and you don't have any character, your culture is going to be what they put on television every night. They try to say that's Black culture. Violence, disobedience, arrogance, that's not Black culture. Those are people that are acting out who happen to be Black. My culture is what I deem my culture to be based on what I've been taught, what I've observed, what I've learned, what's been passed down to me, the same as anybody else's culture. No culture is superior to another. None. Everybody, like Tony Brown says, we have a lot of people that are average in our culture, a few geniuses, and a liberal sprinkling of fools in every culture. And I'll just take my seat.
All right. Good start off by the general. Who wants to add in?
This is Victory Unlimited. I'll jump on in and add to the salvo, the opening salvo that the general pulled the trigger on. I was just thinking about the word culture. When I think about the word culture, that speaks to something. When you think of culture, that speaks to something that creates an environment for growth. Like to cultivate, to breed, to fertilize, to harvest, et cetera, et cetera. So when we talk about culture, we're also talking about a collection of things that a person or a group of persons excel at. So when we talk about Black culture, we have to talk about Black excellence.
Mhm.
Which represents a lot of different things in and of itself. Different categories, kind of like what Mike was saying. Categories such as categories in life, a bunch of different ways that Black people have contributed or added to the things that we all experience in our lives, whether it's fashion, art, sports, any skills, any abilities, just the basic ways in which we've impacted the world around us, the civilization as a whole. So when we talk about culture, especially when we talk about Black culture, in order to do this subject justice, we're going to have to find a way to add a 25th hour to each day.
Who else wants to add to your opening salvo?
I'll go on.
Go ahead, man.
Culture is traditions as well as values. That's what culture means to me. It's the pulse in which we do things. And Black people have done things for centuries where we have been the forefront of everything. We have used um, necessity as the mother of invention in many different aspects of our lives. We've had to learn to adapt to enslavement. That alone is a culture.
Mm-hmm.
We've had to learn how to come up with a different form of speech. That alone is culture. We've taken certain things from the motherland and transformed them depending on the region that we're in. We've, like, for Jamaicans, we've taken hot cross buns and made Easter bun with it because we added molasses, because molasses is something that we use. Africans used cornrows as a way of making maps in people's hair, and all these different things we've learned, like, again, jumping the broom, because we weren't allowed to get married. So the more and more that we have learned to adapt or learn to assimilate, or just moved forward, culture keeps changing. There were certain words we used to use in the 70s. We used to use stuff like jive, or in the 20s we said slip me some skin. That changed to give me five. Now it's high five or give me a dap. So culture is always changing. It's never all the same thing. It's a mix of tradition, a mix of necessity, and basically an aspect of values.
Okay. Anyone else want to add on to the opening salvo today?
Clive speaking.
Yes, sir.
Well, what can we say? Black culture is culture. We started on the planet first, and everybody copies what we do. So culture is everything what everyone said, but it's like, for example, music is one of the biggest things where you could say express Black culture. Think about hip hop. Hip hop started, and now what's the culture now? Everywhere hip hop is played, even on the TV adverts. It's played in the clubs. The kids across the globe, from the UK to the Asia to Americas, everywhere, Africa, they are into hip hop. They have the hip hop culture of graffiti, music, clothing, language, you name it. So Black culture is what people look at, admire, and copy. So this is it. Rock and roll, for example. Chuck Berry started rock and roll, and then it turned into Elvis. So Black people start things. They start everything, and it is culture. and they rename it pop culture. So and it becomes popular. So yeah, man, we've got everything. But like Juice Man said, and the general, it is a case of our values as well as our traditions. And on the plus side, black people have had that Ubuntu mindset where we all share. We have a culture of, if you've even got one small bit of food, we would share it for 10 people if there are 10 people there. We have a culture of, we have carnivals. Everyone's invited. That's the thing with black people. No one's left out. Whatever race you are, you can come too. We don't have exclusive clubs on, black and white suits and stuff like that. We're not like the English. I'm English, and you have the English culture of people not being able to be invited because you don't fit into certain clubs. Everyone's invited in black culture, and that's the positive about us. We are a loving people. We always give and we always share. I'll take my seat.
Nice. We are joined by Mr. Knuckle Up and Buckle Up.
Henri.
He is in the house. He finally found a way in with his lovely chapeau.
Yeah, I had to go back door. So shout out to my man Juice for picking up the call when I made the call. So I appreciate that.
No problem. How we doing, Henri?
Hey Doc, I'm in an undisclosed bunker, as the general would say.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm all over the place right now. I don't know what time zone I'm in right now, but it's all good, bro. It's good to see y'all.
Good up. We're just having the opening salvo. What is black culture to you?
Culture is black. You can't have culture without black. Everything that culture stands on is black rooted, on black foundation. If you think about culture, right? Culture is a continuous narrative, like history. So when you talk about black culture, you're actually talking about the culture of the world. You're talking about cultural, every culture they're standing, whether it be Asian or German, whatever culture there is. Part of it is foundationally rooted in black culture. So culture is black. You can't get them without us. So at the end of the day, we hold up the entire cultural cycle of history of this country, of this world, of this nation. Because you can't have culture without black.
And let me piggyback off of that, Henri, because like they say, Mr. Knuckle Up and Mr. Buckle Up have arrived tonight. Because one of the things among the younger generation is they don't know. Some of them don't want to know what their history is and what their culture is, and how valuable their culture is, because they're being told the propaganda that black culture is inferior, and they believe it. We know that black culture is superior simply because of all the people they're trying to copy black culture. There's money in black culture if you're not black. we don't value what we have. It's just like the illustration my wife likes to use is that when she was working with juveniles, she said that your education is worth $1 million when you graduate by the time you graduate high school. So by you not wanting to go to school, you are throwing money away off the table. Every major singer is paying tribute to Tina Turner, who passed yesterday.
You took it right out my mouth.
And look at Jim Brown when he passed earlier this week. Oh, slaughter him!
Yeah. Those are two icons of black culture right there.
Right, because Jim Brown more so, because Jim Brown did not compromise. Art Modell. See, I'm from Cleveland originally, so I was too young to remember what the fight was all about. I just remember that Jim Brown was on the field at one time and he was gone, and I didn't find out till later why he was gone, because he was being threatened by the owner of the club, and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna retire now," because like, you're not dictating terms to me. He knew he was secure. Part of culture is being secure in yourself. And if you are Christian, you have the addition of biblical culture, which started in Africa. And what is Africa? Africa is black. like E.V. Hill said, when people argue about what color Jesus is, he said there ain't no way a white man could stay out the desert for 33 years and still be white. ain't no way that's possible. So we have to value the culture that we have and protect it and not give it away for 30 pieces of silver, just like Clive was talking about. Rap and hip hop, that started with us, and it's all over the place now. And look at artwork. Who could draw better than us? Even dare I, like a line from Blazing Saddles, dare I say it? Beethoven was black. I just lost the southern part of the United States down to OBU. And parts of Canada have been blacked out, and parts of London are gone, man. I tell you that. But when you say Beethoven is black, oh man, folk all want to fight.
Oh my gosh. So then let me ask everybody, and Juice Man has dropped off because he's on his date night, so we may or may not get him back then.
Oh, hey, Henri, you did not hear. Juice Man has jumped the broom. He's gotten engaged on Mother's Day.
All right. I don't know if Henri can hear us, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to
send him a note.
Yeah, I'm going to send him. Okay, I'm going to. All right. We'll get Henri back on in a minute. Yeah, he's logged off. Then let me ask for the allies that are here right now, what is the state of black culture on May 25th, 2023 from your lens?
Can you hear me? Dr. Vibe? You want to go, VU?
Yeah, I'll go. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I would say the state of black culture as of this moment, I think black culture is suffering from an identity crisis. And I think that identity crisis originates both internally and externally. Because as has been stated, we are so free-hearted in the sense that we share what we have so freely that we are always having to be on the lookout for those who misappropriate it and re-identify it and rename it as theirs without giving any of the benefits or the profits, whether they be spiritual, emotional, or financial, to the creators. And I think that's where the identity crisis comes in, that we don't claim it as much as we should claim it in as many different areas of our lives as we need to. And that's partially the reason why the identity crisis, I believe, has occurred.
I'm gonna go a little bit. Want to go a little bit deeper with you, VU, in regards to this. Many years ago, very early in our mission, you had a term or a phrase, the illusion of inclusion.
Ooh.
How much impact, in your lens, and maybe other allies can join in, has the illusion of inclusion impacted black culture? I'll let you start off, VU, because that is one of your fundamental phrases I never forget.
Right. You can always tell how included you really are when money is on the table to be had, or when the responsibility for a thing is to be taken up. And so I think the illusion of inclusion, unfortunately, is alive and well, and many people are shocked when they realize that they are not as accepted as they often think.
Okay. All right. General Clive, your thoughts on the state of Black culture at today?
Go and take it, Coach.
Okay. I think there's you said through the lens. There's two lenses. There's the lens of reality, the reality that we live in. And I'll give you an example of that. Last week, there was a guy from Nottingham, where I'm from in England, very, very, very a legendary guy, say, who, like, when hip hop started early in the early years, he was one of the people that used to break dance. They had a crew, and they used to, you know, he really was an icon of the city. And went to the funeral, and it was an all-day event and a really big, one of the biggest funerals I think I've ever been to. So there was over 1,000 people there, and you know, it just showed you that there was people that you haven't seen for years. You imagine going back to your childhood, seeing people you haven't seen for years. So there was every age group, you know, from 90 down to say 15, and so that's the reality. The reality is that we are nothing's changed. You know, we still have that, you know, black togetherness and so forth, so forth. But on the other side of the lens, there's the media lens, which is the propaganda machine, which shows the sellouts and the people highlighting certain agendas, what they want to push. So it looks like black people are doing worse than they are. And that's in every scenario. You know, you got, like, for example, in the States, you have a lot of celebrities what are married to black women, but they never show them unless you go on the internet and check who they're married to, and you see the pictures. So, you know, we have to be very careful not to say it's really bad, because it's not as bad ever as you would think, you know. And this is the trick that gets played. The media is a very powerful tool, and it's like, for example, I will say to people, because I'm a taxi driver, so I have a lot of conversations with people, like white people, and they will speak, and I say to them, for example, as a black person, your only, you know, reference to black people is normally through the TV, through the news, you know. Unless you've got black friends, you really, it's just an illusion. It's like you don't really know, because you're not speaking to black people on a regular basis. You haven't got real black friends. So that's the reference point. Now, if they're an employer, where their reference going to come from? Oh, black people do this and black people do that, when it's not really the reality, you know. And as a taxi driver, I have very deep conversations with a lot of people, because I can articulate things and they go, oh, you're different, you know. And they know when they come across a person of color who is different, who can explain things in a sensible way, clearly, to say, okay, I understand this now. So this is why they have the divisions, because if you're divided, like, for example, we're black. Now, when I was a little kid, I'll give you an example. I came to New York for the first time. My cousin's in New York. He thinks that all black people and all people in the UK drink tea and speak the Queen's English, and we live in London. You know, that's the impression. The things that you probably see on your TV out there is, you know, the UK drinking tea, men in bowler hats, people in London, where the UK is very, you know, diverse with lots of different cultures and people. So this is what I'm talking about. With the media, you've got one lens, what you're looking through, and the reality is completely different a lot of the time. So it's probably the same wherever you are in the States as well. I mean, I've been out there and I've seen how people are, and you know, it's very hard to judge when you go somewhere. You think, oh, it's going to be like this. You go to Jamaica and they go, don't go outside. And we was outside with all the locals partying and this, that, and the other. So everything is different in reality to what the media says. So,
General?
I would have to say that things have gotten better. But the problem is that with those things getting better in black culture, we're still having this debate, at least here in the States, as to the freedom to the freedom to not be monolithic in our political thought. Uh, there are a lot of blacks who will stick with the wrong ship politically and try to blame everybody else for their choices. And that's regardless of party. You know, both all three political parties have a way of messing up from time to time. But we have to get over with our doing better. We have to get over what I call this sedity attitude, that or crabs in a barrel attitude, that I'm better than you are, and I should be top crab. I didn't get to the top of the barrel by myself. They're like Henri likes to say, they're giants. We're standing on their shoulders, and we need to not forget that we didn't get there by ourselves. But too many of us in this era of excess, this era of technology, have forgotten our responsibility to our race. Everybody's out to them. Everybody's out, for themselves, and they're not thinking about the race. We've done better, but if our race doesn't succeed, we don't prosper as well as individuals. And our race has to succeed, regardless. You ever stop to think that if black culture is so bad, why is everybody else so daggone afraid of us succeeding? They still can't figure out how the pyramids were built. They still can't figure out that Cleopatra was black. And they get mad, and I love this, and I know y'all heard about this. They did a new thing on Cleopatra. They had a black woman in the lead, and they got upset because she was black. She wasn't Elizabeth Taylor colored.
Yeah, she's British.
Yeah, really. And it's like Clive remembers this when they were considering Idris Elba as the next James Bond. Oh, people just went off like skyrockets. It's like so who's seeing by in the culture that we're in now, the stew pot that we're in now, who says James Bond can't be black? Matter of fact, like VU likes to say, we don't need no hand-me-down heroes. We could create, VU as the next the next 00 soul. Culture is what you make of it, and we've been succeeding, but our successes are being hidden by a biased media, and unfortunately, some of the bias is in our own media, the media that's left, the media that hasn't been assimilated. Because Doc, I know you remember this when you first started doing all this stuff.
Yep.
Down here in the States, how many other black online presences there were, and one by one they were gobbled up by other ones. There was one outfit I used to write for. Was it Black Voices or something like that?
Yeah, Black Voices was owned by AOL, but it went off.
Yeah. Black World Today, there's a couple of them.
Yeah.
Viacom got somebody, and even BET got bought out.
By Viacom.
Yeah, by Viacom. So, again, we don't even control our own negative, but in spite of that, we still rise thanks to the glory of God through Jesus Christ. God has not forgotten us, even though we have forgotten him in a lot of ways. But we're still being blessed to being able to move forward, because once again, if we weren't worth copying, then the world would be a pretty dull place. If you look at music, you look at sports, who's everybody trying to emulate? Entertainment. Hey, we must have something, right? Because if we didn't have anything, nobody would want to take it.
Good point. Henri, can you hear us? And can you hear us okay, Henri? Okay. Henri's connection.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So what do you feel the state of black culture is today, Henri?
Black culture. there's days where I think culture is vibrant and strong, and there's days I think that Black culture is suffering. The days I feel that it's suffering is because we won't answer the rally call to come together and be our own police, our own self-drive for acceptance that we're never going to get. And in the days I feel really good about Black culture, certain strides being made, certain accomplishments being made by by Black people, especially our Black women who are making powerful insteps in the fields of politics, entrepreneurship, and it gives me hope. I would like to see a point where all of those things come together and they're still looking at us for the answer. And then we say, worth to you. So for free. So what is it worth to you? What is the state of my existence? What is the state of my history? What is it worth to you? On it, but just to say, what is, can we truly come to the table of brotherhood as brother, as I received you all these years as your own special entity. So I think the state of Black culture. Sometimes I say I feel great about it. So I know disenchanted because I just think we're too powerful of a people to continue to act like we're a secondary person. We're not secondary people. And as I said in my opening when I got on, is the fact that you can't have without Black. So our value in this picture is bigger, broader, brighter.
Okay, Henri, your reception is a little bit not 100%. So Henri, I gotta ask a favor. Turn off your camera, Henri. You can just turn off because it seems that your connection isn't that great. Okay, he's frozen up on us. Okay, we'll get Henri back in just a moment. So for the other allies that are in the room, then, y'all, some say Black culture is good today. Some say it ain't. But do we have more control over our narrative these days? Because many of you have mentioned the media and its impact. How much control over the narrative do we have? Now, Mike, you had mentioned when I started this off, one of the main reasons I still do this, because I want to control my narrative. I'm a Black man. I control that narrative. But when we look in the macro out there, how much control, if culture and narrative go hand in hand, how much control do we have over our narrative and our culture?
Doc, if I may,
Please do.
I'd like to turn the microphone back to you,
Yep.
my friend. And the reason why is this. I believe you, more than any of the rest of us, from a media standpoint, I guess my question, to piggyback on the question you just asked, is this.
Yep.
What kind of value or differences have you seen over these years since you've started taking a more active role in controlling the narrative? What has life shown you as far as the impacts that you've seen made?
Great question. So, yeah, and I've done over 4,000 of these. So I'm going to piggyback on what the general said, or no, what Henri said, and hopefully we'll get him back. In some areas, I think it's great that we have control over our narrative. The concern I have is the message in some of those narratives. Like, you know, I don't know who mentioned, maybe it was Clive. When hip hop first came out, it was a good narrative. It was a good narrative. You know, you had EPMD, you had Fight the Power, all those things. X Clan, you know, all these groups. Look at hip hop now. The lifestyle it's portraying, womanizing, smoking blunts, all this sort of thing. And let's be honest, the major consumers of hip hop are people that don't look like us.
That's right.
You need to say that twice for the people in the back.
Right? The major consumers of hip hop, whether it's purchasing or going to concerts, is people that don't look like us. So that's the lens they get of us through entertainment, through performance, right? Melanated people will get paid a lot of money to dribble a ball, throw a ball, catch a ball, tell a joke. But melanated people don't get paid when they're a scientist or they're a professor. There's some of them out there, but we still are portrayed as, in many times, entertainers. Right? There's I don't want to mention the platform, but there's a very popular platform out there run by some Black American men. I'll say it's 3 names, but I ain't going to give it directly. And they talk about financial empowerment. The organization came up here to Toronto, and I didn't go, but I have enough people I know that attended, and they said it was like a concert. There were people there dressed up like it was a concert, not to receive financial empowerment. So there are a lot of good platforms out there, yes, but there's still the traditional out there. And again, everyone has the right to do their narrative, put the stuff out there. But again, also piggybacking on Mike Ramey, there's many of them that have sold out. Viacom, BET, they had a tagline a little while back. Maybe VU remember the call for the culture.
Right.
Yep.
Whose culture? That BET is owned by a Jewish family. So a Jewish family is determining Black culture in the media. Could any of us own a Chinese media platform and say and dictate what that culture is? That ain't happening.
You got that right.
So hopefully, VU, that answered somewhat your question. And if any other of the allies want to add on, please feel free.
Well, there was a Black News Network that ran for like about 6 months.
Yes.
And
it was, yep.
And it just died on the vine. And
it got bought by Byron Allen.
Mm-hmm. And it died on the vine. You know, it's like we finally get something that had a real chance of broadening our culture, and it was caught short. It's like the proverbial line that, well, we can't print good news because if we do print good news, people won't read it or watch it. Okay, so you're just going to go ahead and keep on printing the bad news, because people like that. But like they say, there are fewer Black reporters, there are fewer Black sportscasters, there are fewer Black anchors, even in Black markets. You know, in traditionally urban markets, the number have gone down. Why? Simply because of the fact that people don't want to invest in the culture anymore. See, like I said before, one culture is not superior to the other culture, but because I'm in this culture, I feel a whole lot more proud in this culture, especially since I'm in Christ, I feel a lot, willing to stand up for my culture a whole lot more than somebody else because, this is who I am. This is where this is what I believe in. And until one of the things about our culture is like you said, Vibe, and I'm proud of you, is that you're keeping the torch lit. You're keeping it out there. Part of the problem too is in our culture, there's a divide between the black man and the black woman, at least in the media sense.
Yes.
In the media sense, not the private sense, but in the media sense. And on top of that, there are more black men involved in podcasts in that venue that you can see on YouTube. And I know y'all are familiar with some of them because I'm still discovering some of them. But in that, we have to be careful in the fact that we don't need to be, like they say, we don't need to be smoking our own press releases. When people tell us how bad we are and we ain't this and we ain't that, we can't believe the hype. We have to keep on pressing forward and moving forward. If you make progress in your culture of 1 inch a day, you're still making progress.
I could go on about this, but I think
go ahead. It's your show.
No, it's our show. It's our show and the viewers' show.
Well, you the point, man. You the tip of the spear. Hey, go ahead and throw another one.
but I was having today. I spent most of the day listening to people and organizations who look like us in conflict. And it just seems that, let's say over this, can't we just get along?
No.
Right. And it's interesting. We mentioned, we've lost some icons. Tina Turner, Jim Brown and we're broadcasting this live on May 25th. Wasn't a day or two ago, 3 years ago since George Floyd was killed. What impact in the long run has that had on our culture?
It's exposed some stuff we've been talking about for years.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on now, is that stuff that was done to us a generation ago in our neighborhoods, in our culture, in our 3 countries, stuff that was done to us a generation ago. Now all of a sudden, the demon's been unleashed, and the Caucasian culture is discovering injustice. The Caucasian culture is discovering out of wedlock births. The Caucasian culture is wrestling with fentanyl and is killing off their young people. They're wrestling with unemployment. See, one of the things about culture is either you carry your culture, and this is a day-by-day thing, either you carry your culture or your culture is going to carry you.
Or it's going to get carried by somebody else.
Yeah. If you're not careful, it's going to be carried by somebody else. Or let's put it this way, it'll be bought. Somebody, Yeah. Yeah. That's it right there.
So this leads to my question to people who are watching this, especially if you're melanated. Why
don't you just go ahead and say black?
I like melanated.
What you feel, man?
Okay.
Like Richard Pryor said, to be a good American citizen, you got to be taught how to say nigga.
Yeah.
And that's what they were doing with the Vietnamese back in the 70s. And now with the illegals coming in at the border, can you say the word there? Nigga.
So my question is, what price is there anything you can't be bought for?
That's on an individual level, or
I'm just putting out you don't have to answer, but the thing is, we're talking here. Black culture is a commodity.
Sure.
Right? And a lot of other people have control on what it's perceived to be.
I mean, personally, I'll say this. from the mainstream media's point of view, like the deities and that, they should never have sold, because they're not thinking long term. You see, the people that buy the black culture are thinking long term. Like you said, hip hop started with a good message, and now they only have negative messages put into the music. There is still underground hip hop, which is positive, but you have to look for it. There is individuals like yourself with podcasts and people doing streams every day on, you know, TikTok and YouTube and so forth. And they are positive, but you have to look for them, find them. And this is the difference, you know, because perception is reality. A lot of people believe the mainstream. They look at the mainstream because it's bigger. Everything's got to be bigger, and that is how they look at the world. You know, everyone is seeing things through an illusion. You know, even these big white mainstream stars, it's an illusion, you know, and it's like the media is the most powerful thing on the planet. You know, Malcolm X said that. He said the media can make the guilty look good and the good look guilty. So, you know, it's true. That's one of his quotes. It's not word for word, but it is true. The media portrays things and people really do believe it, you know. And it's like, it's, for example, you look on internet, you might know someone, but they might have pictures on their Instagram or Facebook and they look like they're living a really fabulous life, and you know them personally, and you go, they're not living that life. But a person that don't know thinks that they live in this big, you know, royal life. So it's an illusion, just like any film. Film is an illusion. You know, they put them together frame by frame and edit it and put music and dialogue, and you're on. So yeah, I mean, black people have got to start thinking long term, not sell out, and think of generations to come. Because what's happening now is our culture is being brought up, and they're portraying this propaganda agenda image, which is not our foundation. Like I said, there's two things. There's the reality of the black people, and there's a media portrayal of black people. I don't know if you guys have seen a film what Keenan Ivory went. Was it Keenan Ivory? Robert Townsend. Hollywood Shuffle.
Yep.
That gives a clear portrayal of what I'm talking about. Great movie. Robert Townsend. Hollywood Shuffle. Everyone watch that movie, and it shows exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, I mean,
you know, the whole culture piece. It just seems that black culture has been sold for 40 acres and a mule.
Hey,
We
Doc.
haven't even gotten a mule, and we definitely haven't gotten the 40 acres.
Go ahead, VQ.
In fact, we don't even have what the mule leaves behind. Eh?
Stop your noise, Mike.
Look, I will carry that picture with me through the weekend, Mike. Thank you, my friend. But no, I was about to remind you guys, if you remember, when Bob Johnson sold BET to Viacom, one of the reasons that he gave for doing it was so that he could buy into a sports franchise. So here's a man who thought that rather than remain the owner of your own narrative, he would rather become one of many part owners of a sports franchise. So that shows you the values right there. But I think that what we've all been talking about for the past 30 minutes or so is this: cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation. Is there a difference? And how can we tell the difference between the two?
There's a question there. Is there a difference? Is there a difference? Right? Is there a difference? I don't know. Clive, what do you think? Is there a difference?
I don't think so. We're living in crazy times, you know. Like I said, people are thinking from an individual standpoint instead of thinking on a group collective. And that is the problem that we've always had, you know, the weak links. Yeah, it's the weak links. You know, if everyone's strong, there's no way you can change anything and infiltrate it. But when you got weak links, And that's why, like I said, with psychology, you keep them poor. Someone loves money, boom, weak link, they take it. And you can't be brought by money or anything, and your foundations are strong, and you're a strong spirit, you can't be beaten. And this is what people have got to start focusing on, their ancestors and the past. You know, everything comes from us. So,
You know, I was thinking about another quote I remember hearing. They said that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. You know what
Right.
else would be flattering? How about pay me? How about that?
yeah.
Well, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but it also can lead to grand theft of culture.
Yeah.
Man,
It's like you say,
General,
like
you're landing the knowledge bombs before till you take your hiatus. You're making it happen.
hey, look, I'm gonna take my hiatus this summer simply because of the fact I need to rest up, get ready for the fall. I got to get some new ammo, man. but it's true. It's true, Doc. It's true, Clive. It's true, VU. As soon as we discover something, the efforts are made to steal it, focus, group it away, TikTok it away. It's sad. It's sad because we don't, not so much us, because, well, like I said, we're old heads. We understand. We know the game. But some of us have been burned by the game. But the reality is, our culture is valuable. If that's the only point I make tonight that's worth anything, that's it. Our culture is valuable, and each one of us carries it in earthen vessels. It can be broken very easily. It could be lost, but please don't let it be sold for 30 pieces of silver. I mean, I can understand that the guy that had BET sold it because he wanted to buy into a franchise, a sports franchise. I can understand, Michael Jordan leaving the NBA for a while to play baseball and then go back to playing basketball and winning 3 more world championships. I can understand that because we have the freedom to do that. The grand reality is that not everybody has that freedom. And we have to be willing to let folk be folk based on the best that they can be. I mean, I was upset when John Johnson's family got rid of Ebony and Jet magazine.
There you go.
And Essence.
There you go.
I was upset, but see, I understand it was a business decision.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to, just like Henri teaching about hair. Henri, you back with us? You there, brother? Yeah, I could see him, but
yeah, his
stuff is having his stuff is having problems. But Henri, I ran into a white counterpart of yours out in my way that's doing the same thing you're doing and having the same frustrations. She's trying to teach people, young people, about the same stuff you're trying to teach. And so ignorance is not confined to any one culture. Okay? When the Johnson family made their decision, when Berry Gordy made his decision about moving Motown out of Detroit, they have the right. You have the right to do that, but you got to live with the consequences.
I'll just add in, and I'm going to make a suggestion. I think we're going to end this because Henri's having some technical challenges. Juiceman had to leave early. I'm going to suggest that we have a part 2 of this next month where everyone is more settled, especially technical. General won't be with us, but I think we need to go into part 2 of this because we're got very limited input from Juiceman and Henri. I don't know if you can hear us or not. We can tell you've had some technical challenges.
Yeah, but we still love them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. See, because
And
even
then
right now,
you had your own technical challenges too, Doc.
yeah. So we're gonna. But what I will add to what Mike has said. No, I'll actually say it's in the end. So I want to on this part one of what is Black culture. Anyone have any closing thoughts?
I think I can sum up some of the epiphanies I've had during this conversation.
Sure.
Remember, I brought up the question of the difference between cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation.
You need to write that down because we're gonna go deeper into that next month, big time.
Yeah, here are my thoughts. Cultural appreciation is when you give the praise and you share the profits. Cultural appropriation is when you just take the profits. Maybe that's a difference. I don't know if that's the whole of the difference, but I think that may be a difference.
So, thank you for that closing thought, VU. Where can people contact you?
You can find the Victory Unlimited show at victoryunlimitedshow.com. It'll have everything you need. Knowledge bombs are exploding all around that website. So brace yourself and go over there.
Next up, we'll go to the future Clive Henry. Some final thoughts and where can people contact you?
Okay, the final thoughts on culture. Don't change, don't sell out. Think of the future generations. Okay, and you can find me either by Googling Clive Henry Amazon or on Twitter at Clive Henry1 or on Instagram, Racism is Real.
And then we'll close off with the general.
Yes,
Final
sir.
thoughts and how can people get in touch with you? Because we're going to not see you for a few months. You're taking a summer siesta.
Yes.
And we'll be back
like they said, got to work on my tan sometime, brother.
So
But
final
get in
thoughts.
touch with me at the manhoodline at yahoo.com. It's been a very stable shop. And one more thing on culture, like they say, write stuff down for future generations because they'll need it. Could you just picture people tuning into the Allies 100 years from now, saying those were some, that was the Mount Rushmore of the internet, the Allies, 3 continents, no waiting.
There you go. There we go. We're going to try Henri again.
All right, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Some final thoughts.
Well,
We're going to continue next month.
Cool. And my apologies for the technical difficulties, but I always notice that when I have the biggest or the most technical difficulties is because the topic is hot. And the topic is going. I have the most problems technically when that topic is going to make some people uncomfortable.
Look out the window. Look out the window for the white van.
Exactly.
Jam the signal.
Exactly. But you can't keep your ally down, so I'm still here. So I'm still with it. So I just want to say this real quick. We have to make sure that the next generation understands what influence we have on this whole thing called the world. We have such an impact on the world, and it's not really being appreciated, and it's been taken for granted for some years. And I know we're going to do a part 2 next month. Hopefully I'll be back in my own secure bunker with my own secure wiring. But real quick, I just need to give out these quick shout outs. I want to shout out to my daughter Taylor Livette Morris, who graduated from Pratt Institute of Fashion Technology last week with her degree in fashion design. I also want to congratulate my niece/daughter, Elder Tawanda Nicole Tilson Connolly on her ordination on Saturday as being elevated as an elder in the Methodist Church.
Excellent.
Also,
Excellent.
also want to give a shout out to my niece Kalia, aka Helen, who just celebrated her 50th birthday. She had some
Wow.
serious medical complications, and she's now on the mend. I'm proud of her. And last but not least, I want to congratulate my baby, my granddaughter, Jordan Rose Chase, who graduated from kindergarten today. And this is the reason why I had to come out the bunker. Had to go to a new bunker that I had to be there for the baby. So thank y'all for giving me that opportunity to get those shout outs real quick. And next month, I can't wait to get back on this topic.
Did you buy that? Did you buy that young lady that graduated from kindergarten that Maserati yet? She wants to. And look, she doesn't want just a regular American Express card. She wants American Express card black.
That part.
Black is beautiful.
That part. That part right there. That part right there.
Well, this is good, and I'll just make a few quick closing thoughts. Thank you for asking for my thoughts. Usually I don't give them, but I appreciate being asked. I think also we got to make sure we document everything we do, and we also share it for the next generations and the generations that are ahead of us. Very
Absolutely.
important.
Yep.
We have to do this. It's like this conversation is basically gone into its second incarnation. There are people that weren't born that are probably listening to this now or hadn't heard about it now. And then finally, when it comes to appropriation, not all money is good money.
No, that's
Not
right.
at all. Not at all.
You know, those are curse words you just used.
Smile when you say broke, brother.
Hey, Henri, you didn't mention how people can touch base with you, by the way.
Yes, you can contact me on Twitter at For the Love of You. That's FORTHELUVFOU. You can also hit me up on Facebook with the same moniker. And if you want to hit me directly, you hit me up at marshenri@gmail.com. I'll answer any questions honestly. So whatever questions you ask, be ready because I'm always two-fisted. Just understand.
You need to put that on a t-shirt, Henri.
Well, after let's buckle up and knuckle up, that we got to put first on it.
Oh, that's on a coffee cup. That's on a coffee cup. That's on a cup. We're gonna have a whole wardrobe. You can have one of your babies design it. You know, have golf shirts with cultural appropriation versus appreciation.
Yeah, man. We got some ideas for some products.
Yeah, the Black Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's epic.
Mike,
right
what
there.
was that line you said about something about theft? You said something about theft earlier.
Yeah. Cultural appropriation, better translated, means just theft. Go ahead.
You need. We're gonna fit after we finish. You need to share that with us. So we got a bunch of things we may have to put on T-shirts or something because I think so much worthy. But gentlemen, thank you again. As I said during the conversation, the general is not going to be back till September. So, General, hope you have a good summer.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
And,
Magic Mike.
Yes, and then also we're not on till the end of next month, the end of June. So for those who do celebrate it, happy Father's Day.
Yes.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Happy Father's Day, everybody. Pass that along to a soon to be married Juice Man.
Yes. Absolutely. And then also to remember, gentlemen, to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and rest in power, Jim Brown.
There you go.
And Tina Turner.
And Tina Turner, rest in power. So, gentlemen, thanks again.
All right. Happy Juneteenth, everybody.
Hey. Adios.
Okay, as we do the exit here, as my screen has gone really funny on me. All right, there we go. Okay, got that. Got that. Okay, we got it done. Excellent. So thanks everybody for watching or listening live or watching or listening on the replay. My name is Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. First off, if you're up to it, please like the Dr. Vibe show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Because not only do you like it, but you'll get notified of upcoming Epic Conversations because I host 4 a week on top of things like this regularly. And also, please like the Dr. Vibe show on Facebook and LinkedIn. If you want to get in touch with me, this is how you can do it. Website, the drvibeshow.com. Email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Twitter, at drvibeshow. And Instagram, at the drvibeshow. So this is how we're going to close it off today. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace. And don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Thank you, everybody who watched. Appreciate it, not taken for granted. We'll see you. Well, follow me. I'm on all the time, but the allies will be back at the end of next month. We're going to do a part 2, and we're speaking at the technical challenges will be in the past, and we'll have another deep dive into the allies. Be well and keep the faith.
Listen.